everybody a second to come in the chat.
When my hair started to thin, I wasn't feeling so confident.
Y'all read the description.
After I became a mom, my hair,
Sebastian Telfair.
when I entered menopause, nobody tells you about hair.
Former NBA
And I really respect
player.
how it works from the inside. My hair was getting longer and stronger. I'm a lot happier. I feel better than I did in my 20s.
Me personally, I talked about this on my platform
This
a couple months ago.
violent confrontation.
And I was talking about
After his skirmish with the Lions,
legal,
he hits the water.
actually, yesterday, legal hustle. And
But he finds
basketball
no
is a legal hustle.
as tiny African helmeted turtles.
This is a former NBA player who was actually on the cover of a magazine, I think, with LeBron one time, before the NBA. Who had opportunity. Donovan Contra Ramirez, what's up, gang? Well, what's up, family?
The leopard mother has killed an impala and dragged it high into a tree.
This is somebody who, once you step through that legal door and you got opportunity to make legal money, after you fall off or whatever happens, we as in the people, we don't care
The leopard is called.
about you being back in the projects. Donovan Ramirez.
Vultures are
Y'all remember me? Yeah, hell yeah, you my homie. What it do? Of course. My boy. Hell yeah. My boy said, you don't remember me? Hell yeah, I do. My dog.
The scraps aren't enough for the hyena to fight.
Yeah, anytime you have a opportunity to make legal money, dog, future GT, what they do? They make legal money playing in the NBA, bro, and you back in the projects, bro. We as the people don't feel bad for you. That go with the conversation I talked about on my platform a couple months ago. James from Jummos. What it do? What it do? That go about what I was talking about on my platform a couple months ago. Like, once you make legal money, bro, or you get into the NBA or whatever it is, you hit the lottery and you fall off, make sure everybody hit that like button too. Maximum. What it do? Once you make $1 million, bro, legally, bro, we as in the people, bro, we don't care about you falling off, bro, because you had the opportunity who a lot of us didn't have, you know what I mean? Whether it's because we didn't push ourselves or because you just was fortunate to have the opportunity. But now you back in the projects, doing a fake Project MTV crib, trying to show us and the people out here in the world how you living now compared to how you could have been living if you would have stayed on your grind. Maximum sleep. Oh, okay. If you'd have stayed on your grind. And the thing is this, the only reason you back in the project is because you allowed yourself to end up back in the projects. You know what I mean? That's a self-inflicted situation, especially when you hoop. You know what I mean? You could have been somewhere at a recreation center, teaching kids. You know what I mean? A lot of people who is in your situation like you, who feel like they don't got no other talent or backup career as far as doing other things, then you supposed to mobilize and strategize and do what you got to do as far as maintaining yourself in the basketball world. You know what I mean? You think because you go from the cover of a magazine with LeBron to now you back in New York in the projects that we gonna feel bad and start cash apping you and Zelle app and Apple Pay and all that. Nah. A lot of us normal people would love to even get an opportunity, even sniff the NBA league. You know what I mean? Like, we don't feel bad for you, bro. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all coming in here, y'all hit that like button. But I seen him doing a Project MTV Cribs and basically saying what he's been reduced to because he allowed himself to be reduced to that. You know what I mean? Rebecca Towns, how are you feeling today? I'm feeling good. We're having a conversation about a former NBA player named Sebastian Telfair, who was once on the magazine cover with LeBron, got out of jail, now living in the hood, and want us to feel bad for him. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Riot Pro something. Yo, what it do? What it do, family? Rebecca Towns, good. I'm glad you're doing good. Make sure you set that notification and all y'all hit that like button here. But yeah, how you go from knocking on the door of opportunity and then when the door open, you don't step through the door to progress your life and your situation to now you on YouTube doing a fake MTV Cribs trying to show us that you back in the projects and how you living and that you back with roaches and you got rust on your stove. Bro, in the normal world, bro, we all know about all the things you showing, bro. That's not nothing like, ooh, oh my God, damn, he fucked up. Oh, nah, bro. We in the normal world, bro, we already know about having rust on your stove. No matter what you buy to clean it, it still ain't gonna scrub out. We already know about roaches, bro. We know about violence when you live in certain parts of the neighborhood that's in the open, and you know what I mean, some violence in the dark. But don't nobody should nobody feel bad for a guy who had an opportunity of a lifetime and didn't take advantage of it, because a lot of them NBA players want to be street niggas. But then you got street niggas who want to be in the NBA, which is ain't nothing wrong with that part. But when you an NBA player, you want to go backwards and be a street nigga.
It helped visibly repair my intestinal lining. Check. And I got lasting
To me, there's no way you go from being on the cover of a magazine with LeBron James. Okay, if you had an injury, that's one thing. But you allow out temptation to distract you from what you were supposed to be doing. Like the moment you get in the NBA, that don't mean it's over with. You made it, and you know what I mean. Yeah, you made it to the league, but that don't mean you get comfortable. Really, that's when the work actually should really begin. Where you really got to grind. Dunica to Ramirez. When we gonna speak up? When we gonna spark up? G. Right. My dog. I owe my dog a smoke session. Whenever I get time to do what I told you, we come on here and try different flavors. Me, you, and another compadre of mine. I'm glad you tapped in though. You know it's love. You little bro. But once you get that opportunity, whether it's football, tennis, and you get to make it to that extra, you know what I mean, level, you got to go harder. You know what I mean? It don't mean because you came out of high school or college or whatever, and now you go into the draft, you hit the lead that you loosen up now. You actually got to go harder. And plus, the NBA right now, the NBA hip to, you know what I mean? Some of these dudes who just, making it good enough till they get to the league and then you hit a lick with a contract, you know what I mean? You know? If you didn't make it to the league and you was at the door, no, if you made it to the league and you was there and you got kicked out for self-inflicted situations, we as in the people don't feel bad for you. You had the opportunity of a lifetime. You should have took advantage of it. You know what I mean? But his era, I remember that dude. His era when he came into the league, his era was the DVD era. You know what I mean? He was like Carmelo when Carmelo was on that Stop Snitching DVD back in the day. I don't know a lot of people remember that. That Melo was on that stop. I know that's what your mama said when she was giving me neck. Um, Mello was on those Stop Snitching DVDs back in the day. He come from that era. Sebastian dude, where you be on DVDs, you want to be a street nigga, woo de woo de woo woo woo. So now, fast forward 10 years later, after smoking weed, drinking, partying with the bitches, and doing all type of stuff outside of basketball, it caught up with you, and now you using the old. I'm just fucking with you, gang. Relax, bro.
So will the fish.
But now, 10 years later, you ain't even mentioned.
By the time the buffalo return to the river, it's more sand than water.
I don't get what you're saying that last time, but now, fast forward, you ain't got no backup hustle. You ain't got no shirts. You ain't selling no.
For their
You
favorite
ain't
food.
doing nothing. You was solely concentrated on basketball. Nah, I don't smoke no stogies, dog. This is straight Pacquiao, loud.
The rock is much bigger.
You'll know that if you tap in, bro. Will you? But I think stogies. I don't know, dude. Y'all, that sound like what they say in Philly type shit.
Until they're around 2 years.
Where you from, Jonathan?
In their games, they practice dominance.
I know when
Because he was
when
born
you
small,
is in Sebastian and LeBron and all these different dudes. When you in the league, right, or you go into the league, you been through every worst step it is to been through. AAU, you traveling, you on the road, you doing all type of stuff. It's a lot of tournaments you a part of. The grind is real.
so much more.
So it's like when you about to step through the door,
Practices his tree
you don't
climbing
turn the
skills
volume
with
down.
their
You turn the volume up. You know what I mean? I played ball. You know what I mean? I was pretty decent. You know what I mean?
For this pair,
Lost my focus and chose a different route.
life's
You know what I mean? So I know how when you're young, you can easily derail off track. You know what I mean?
he's out doing
But when you got people guiding you all the way to the door,
died from
any
injury.
mistake or situation you make,
Now,
my boy said, "Nah, I'm gonna stop." Nah, you good, bro? You good? You ain't gotta stop. You know what I mean? It's just come. We just pass the time.
he is the first to enjoy
But when you got somebody guiding you to the door, whether it's your AAU coach, your middle school coach, high school, whatever, you don't supposed to turn the volume down then. You know what I mean? You gotta have that same hunger you had when you was a kid with your Walmart basketball, shooting outside, shooting at the park all night. And my boy said, "You got it for sure." Set that notification, family.
the leopard mother
When
knows
you
her
got that
place.
Walmart basketball, bro, and you in your neighborhood, or you got a goal at your crib, bro, and you got dreams, you looking around and saying how you want better, and you can see yourself on the mountaintop of the basketball, Mount Rushmore, and you want to, all the fairy tale stuff. I'm gonna buy my mama a house. I'm gonna do all these different things. You know what I mean? Then when you get there, that don't mean it's over. You know what I mean? That means you actually got to go harder because you got so many dudes in the league overseas who all would trade places with you in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So the grind will stop when you get to the league. Yes, you made it to the league. It's a blessing because we all know plenty of good players who didn't make it. You know what I mean? Or we felt who should have been in the league. Like, dang, he should have been in the league. But once you had your opportunity, whether it's acting, basketball, football, any opportunity, you you mess it up, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like anytime you in a situation where you can make legal bread and you don't roll with it, that's your blessing right there. To make your situation better. You know what I mean? Whether you living in the projects or living in a trailer park or living in a normal community. You know what I mean? Whatever break you get, whether it's the lottery or any type of major financial situation come your way, and recognize your blessing. Then I'm thinking to myself when I'm watching it, like, you know, that was your last resort to go back to the projects. Like you ain't got no girlfriends, you ain't got nobody who. I mean, it's like how you don't got at least one person that you can lean on when times is rough. To me, that shows a person who either burnt all their bridges or you just was a self-centered asshole to where don't nobody feel bad for you.
Within 3 months,
You know what I mean? Because it's like,
the second
dang, my nigga, you don't got no cousin or nobody. Like you just that was really your last resort to end up back in the projects in New York.
when that time
I
comes,
would be embarrassed after
he has to make
20 years ago you was on a magazine cover with LeBron.
moves.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I wouldn't have made that. I would have tried other options before I did that. But who knows? I don't know his situation. Maybe he did try other options before he ended up back in the projects in New York. You know what I mean?
The lions are growing up fast.
I just know us regular people. We got ex-girlfriends and girlfriends who some will take you back or I don't know something like, bro, you ain't got no friends, you ain't got nobody to, you know what I mean? I mean, some people don't want nobody. Some people look at it like, you know, if this spot open up and it's in the projects, I can have my own space. They gonna do it. You know what I mean? So, but I know one thing: if you made it to the league, to the NBA,
Fun.
if you coming online looking for some brother polites, be hip to all of that.
That's
You know what
just
I
a
mean?
few months away.
You are accountable for yourself. You know what I mean? Financially too. So when you go from possibly being you doing an
A
MT,
streak,
don't feel bad for you. You know what I mean? Like we don't.
another.
Make sure y'all hit that like button. Remember this Tribe TV, hip hop, sports, and fashion. If we're talking about people who I talked about, you got to roll with it. It's a blessing because so many people either got liquid cash that they can't use how they want to use, or they don't have it at all.
The cubs
You know what I mean? So
while their mother hunts.
when you get that opportunity,
They're almost 2 years
you got to
old.
take advantage of it. See, right now, if he'd have done the got him a little burger restaurant, a few hot dog stands or something better than the situation he in now. The NBA dudes, they be want to be rappers and live like rappers, and rappers sometimes want to be like NBA players. That's why they rappers like to sit courtside
Lucky for the
and
Cubs,
really feel like they
Ron
really in the game. You know what I mean?
remarked his territory with a
Basketball
second
players
ball
want to be
single.
rappers. You know what I mean? That's why they want to get the jewels. A lot of street niggas. You know what I mean? So just without Psalm is doing street shit. You know what I mean? Like they say Tony Allen, who just got arrested. Ben,
Your first
there's a lot of them in there. You know what I mean?
when the fire
But all these owners and these men who playing with billion tabs on what's going on with y'all, even in the NFL, all these different sport outlets is not finna be getting. Okay, yeah, you might not get 20 million really because taxes, agents, and all of that or whatever, but you still cashing out a M legally. You know what I mean? You know? Yeah. So you still cashing out an M or better legal.
Daytime
So
temperatures
it's no excuses when we hear these
soaring
situations like we're not gonna feel bad for you whatsoever.
The dwindling waters of the river still meander through the bushveld.
A lot of us memes, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't get no big $5 million, $10 million crib off the rip. You know what I mean? I just be a basic. I live, you know, normal like mom. modern, you feel me? And showcase that you're beginning your career. You're not even thinking 10, 15, 20 years down the road. You know what I mean? And when we, as normal, early across a real bag, you should kind of know how to go. You know what I mean? A lot of people who want to get money in the streets, they got money from a sport, a lump sum from a sport, or they hit the lottery, and then they lost their mind because they're feeling like you got to prove and showcase and show off and do certain things, trying to fit in. You know what I mean? When you done had paper, lost paper, had it again, had it. You know what I mean? You certain things don't amaze you. Like I say, the only thing that can amaze you is somebody jumping in the sky and sting.
The dry spell continues, choking off
I know how sports
the
go.
sand river.
I played sports and I was good at them. You know what I mean? You can lose focus. So when you, especially if you were a young dude, you know, you start liking girls, your crowd, you know what I mean? You want these y'all into, you can lose focus very fast. You know what I mean? Very fast. You can lose focus. So being a basketball player does come with a lot of temptation. You know what I mean? You out there, you trying to play tournaments, you really trying to focus in, but then you also know in the real world, people your age smoking weed,
Brings no relief.
all type of stuff that you missing out on because you doing AAU tournaments and traveling Orlando and all these different places around the world. So when you finally get to where you at, it's like
The half-blind
the
male leper,
child actor slash child music effect. You know what I mean? You finally got a little time now, so now you just losing yourself. You doing stuff, you're a part of stuff that you shouldn't be a part of. You know what I mean? So
with her youngsters now gone, she's more likely to
basketball, if you ain't surrounded by the right people or got the right team around you, you will lose sight on what you're supposed to be focused on. You know what I mean? So that Sebastian,
stay.
we're not on here to bash him. It's just how you go from being having your feet on the land of opportunity, meaning you
At least for now.
you back in the projects and you don't got nothing going for yourself. You don't sell shirts, hot dogs, you don't got food stands going on as far as the fall back on. You really just went all in and now you back in the projects doing an MTV Cribs version, walking around showing everybody how you living and and now we supposed to feel bad for you. And we don't feel bad for you because like I said on 10 videos ago, once you step up and you get a quarter million or better, hell, we in the normal world know you get 150 or better, legal money, any type of, it can be 50,000, whatever. It can, because your jobs and roll with it. You know what I mean?
Back leadership.
You already know this ain't gonna stretch only but so far. You know what I mean? So a lot of people who do get a certain amount of money, you know what I mean? You damn near gotta clean up a little debt that you in. You know what I mean? Some people end up paying off cars they already got. You know what I mean? So when you get legal money, you always supposed to roll with it right then and there. If you hit a scratch off ticket right now for a quarter million, tell me right now in the comments what you gonna do with it. I already know you gonna be like, I already got the bread divided up. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna put 20 here. I'm gonna put 50 here. I'm gonna put 100 here. I'm gonna do this. But we always do that, but we never say first that, well, let me pay my taxes because, you know, they only come holler at you when you done spent all the bread up or when the bread low. And then whatever they talking about you owe, you don't got no more because they know you done bought tow trucks, music equipment, you chasing a rap. A lot of people be, oh, I'm gonna chase a rap career. I'm gonna invest in my career, which is nothing wrong with that, but you got to set a budget for your career. And the older you get, the more wiser you get when you tell yourself budgeting is everything. You know what I mean? You got to know how to budget. We see these dudes get these contracts or get these deals with these brands, whether it's Hanes, you know what I mean? Any type of deal, and we like, damn, he eating. Yeah, he eating. But he got a financial team that suck, who's stealing from him. He's not managing his funds right. He buying stuff, not keeping track. I don't understand how them dudes don't even be keeping track. Even me now, in the normal world that we all live in, I buy something, I call my card to hit a balance right after. I don't know how they don't be keeping track of their own finances and they fall off to the point where you be like this dude Sebastian back in the projects. Make sure y'all hit that like button when y'all tap in. You back in the projects and you ain't got nothing to show. Like you just never ever played ball. Like you never had a chance to go to the league. You know what I mean? You just a human. You just normal. Like you know what I mean? And once you had them opportunities, man, and people who was down when you first went in and you up now, I mean, you when you was up and they was down, people ain't really finna be pressed to look out for you all like that, especially if you didn't really keep in contact with the people once you hit your lick and you got on. You know what I mean? People ain't really gonna feel bad for you like that. You may have a chosen few who God may just tap on the shoulder and they just may feel bad, but if you like didn't stay active with your community, meaning people can see you, touch you, and got access to you as far as when you come around or whatever, then once your situation happen and you go bankrupt, feel bad for you. You know what I mean? One thing people don't like is people who forget people. You know what I mean? Like people love people and vibe with people who we understand you grow and change, but at the same time, he stayed so level headed and disciplined that he didn't totally forget us. You know what I mean? And we all don't got everything right. It's just that he still stay accessible as far as the hood, and it cost him where people would just approach you. You know what I mean? You're gonna have people wanting to approach you, even if you got a bodyguard. But it was just, you know what I mean? You wanna affect the community, but you don't gotta show that you're affecting the community. You know what I mean? In a positive light. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't feel bad for dude. You know what I mean? Uh, Big Stacks, what it do? My dog get chomped up the deuce. Hit that like button since you just jumped in. But when like I say, once you hit legally money and nobody around you who, when you didn't have nothing, can really know and understand how valuable your situation is to motivate you to keep your situation going, then you got the wrong people around you. You know what I mean? Me, you don't gotta have 10 people or 8 people or 5 people who you knew from your history. You know what I mean? Around you. But if you got people who was good to you and you elevate, you do want to have somebody around you who is not afraid to check you, who is not a yes man or she's a yes woman. You know what I mean? She's gonna tell you how to compromise, remind you to compromise, you know what I mean? And remember where we came from, you know what I mean? To make you treasure your situation more, and you got to stay level headed. So this dude had the opportunity that a lot of people be dreaming to have. You know what I mean? A lot of people who just normal be telling themselves like, I just need to bump and rub shoulders with somebody in the industry or wherever, and then I'm on like bone. You know what I mean? So we don't really be feeling bad when you crash out. All right, for sure. We don't feel bad when you crash out or you blow your money or you allow yourself to get robbed by lawyers and accountants and certain people. You know what I mean? One thing about when you elevate mentally and educate yourself, you know what I mean? Keeping money, you don't keep money just by saving money. You know what I mean? You keep money by knowing what to do with money. You know what I mean? And I'm no pro at that. You know what I mean? A lot of us is no pro at that. But that's why in our off time, we got to hit stores like Barnes and Nobles and get books and certain things or search online or whatever. You know what I mean? I say at Barnes and Noble because sometimes we got to get off our behinds and get to the crib and stay moving. You know what I mean? But you know, we got to study financing a little bit more, paying taxes a lot, really for real, paying taxes. You know what I mean? That's like the number one thing. Like I say, because you got to know the tax brackets and the brackets of life financially. You know what I mean? So nobody get over you. You know what I mean? You're gonna have people trying to steal and trying to pull a wool over your eyes, but you got to be able to catch that. You know what I mean? Before it get too out of hand, and you don't end up like Garnett, where his agent hit a major lick on him for millions. You know what I mean? So, um, this dude Sebastian, you know what I mean? I feel like we shouldn't feel bad for him. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of these dudes who go through stuff like to put Zelle Pay apps and Cash apps and Apple Pay up, and they be wanting you to like send them money. But nah, if we got to get it out the mud, you got to get it out the mud too. You know what I mean? It's no big guys or little U's. You need to sit in a room, cut the TV off, and meditate. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, the smaller the room, the better. You know what I mean? Mentally, your mind is like the shape, the size of the room. You know what I mean? You box in even more, so you should be able to come up with a plan even more faster. Versus you being in a mansion where it's so spaced out, you ain't really got time to think properly. You know what I mean? So sport players and when they take hits, you know what I mean? Some of them actually got friends who, you know, financially they could fall back on, whether they don't give them money, they let them stay there. Like when a long time ago, I remember when Mary J. Blige went through her divorce and she was going through what she was going through, she was living with Clive Davis. You know what I mean? See, she said she was homeless, but you know, to us normal people, if your friend is a millionaire, you go live with your millionaire friend, then to us, we don't look at you like you fucked up type stuff. Like you straight. I mean, you know what I mean? A lot of us when we gotta go stay with somebody, it's either a hotel the streets or Tasha who live over in the projects or Corey who stay over in the hood or whatever. So um let's all learn from it and and go from there and study financial situations and learn from mistakes of others. You know what I mean? I'll be on YouTube, Instagram, you know what I mean? And I observe and watch a lot of things and see a lot of things. And then my own experiences through life too. I just turned 42 November 9th, so I know how it feels to have highs and lows of the financial world. You know what I mean? So I don't always just got to go off of what I see and study. I can go off of myself and speak from my point of view because when you done had paper, you know what I mean, and lost paper, had it again, lost and had it again, you know what I mean, you definitely learn and hopefully you grow from certain situations and mistakes you made financially. You know what I mean? So um, y'all know what it is, man. We promote fitness, testosterone booster. You know what I mean? See results in 7 days pre-workout. You already know. But yeah, this dude, hopefully he learned from his situation. You know what I mean? Hopefully he figure something out and figure something out and you know, it's really all on him. You know what I mean? And take accountability. You know what I mean? A lot of our life struggles and life issues be self-inflicted, but we never talk about that part when we're telling a story to an individual. We just say we feel like we should be going through what we're going through, but in reality, we're not telling ourselves that. We need to slap ourselves, boost ourselves, power up, and motivate ourselves to get the ball rolling in order to receive these blessings or whatever we feel is owed to us. And you can't receive nothing if you ain't busting no moves and you ain't working towards it. You know what I mean? You gotta at least try. You know what I mean? You can't just wake up and walk out and find a scratch off of 40,000. You know what I mean? And then you own. You know what I mean? You gotta show and make moves towards the 40,000 in order to get it. You know what I mean? So this Sebastian dude, I'm not saying it's over, but like I say, this dude was once on the cover with LeBron James. You know what I mean? The opportunity was there. It was like all he had to do was just reach out and grab it. You know what I mean? Did he grab it? Maybe he did, but if he grabbed it, and this is the end result, with you being back in New York in the projects, doing a fake MTV Cribs edition, walking around and got people showing rusted stoves and the ratchetness of how you really living, and that's what you gonna settle for, then that's on you. You know what I mean? And the only reason I don't feel bad really because it's okay, you showing all of that, but you didn't have a moment where you sat down and said, the reason I'm showing y'all this because I want y'all to see how I fell to this, and then where y'all finna see me. You did it out of sympathy. You know what I mean? So, like I say, man, uh, let's make people take accountability for their own situations. The days of using people begging for Cash App, Zelle Pay like Dr. Umar and Brother Polite and all these dudes is over with. You know what I mean? You got people going live and they homeless. You know what I mean? Talking about they need money for a room with their Cash App up, but you ain't making no moves or nothing towards it. You ain't doing push-up challenge for money. You just on here going live, hooked to Wi-Fi, begging for money. You know what I mean? Don't even want to try. You know what I mean? So them type people I stay away from because they're users. You know what I mean? You see them online or you see them in person, and some that's just they hustle. That's what they do. You know what I mean? It's like a rolling stone. You know what I mean? Like they just go from people to people, and then whoever fall for what they selling, they roll with it until they squeeze the eagle out of that, and then move on to somebody else. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all hitting that like button, but Sebastian Telfair, man, yeah, man, former NBA, once was on the cover of a magazine with LeBron when LeBron was in high school. You know what I mean? Had a bright future. You know what I mean? Opportunity was there. You know what I mean? And all he had to do was reach out and just grab the opportunity and do the right thing with it. But a lot of these dudes be allowing their inner ego to destroy your. You know what I mean? Like, even now, we as normal people, before I end this, when you all on YouTube or you just watching stuff on TV and we like, dang, this dude just had 40. Like, okay, like, I'm gonna use this. Like, who remember when Adrian Broner, you know, he was on his game, he was on his prime, you know what I mean? Even though he was trying to hang out with Young Money and be a rapper and all of this, hit that like button too. But Adrian Broner, the perfect example. He was inspired by Floyd, wanted to be like Floyd. You know what I mean? He modeled a lot of stuff after Floyd, but he was kind of handling his business. Then when he came across Marcos Madonna, Madonna cracked his spirit and he just never bounced back to who he was before. But I'm not really here to talk about his record. I'm here to talk about how he was so high off life and what he was doing that Rock Nation offered him 40 M's. And you can look this up, offered him 40 M's. He was so cocky and felt like he was on top of the world that he rejected them 40 M's. Okay, cool. He probably looking at it like I could get 40 M's off several fights that he got lined up. But he's not keeping it real that he has a financial spending problem and he's living way outside his means because if you remember back then, Adrian Broner damn near was he was rapping too when he had his about billion episodes. You get tour buses, you blowing money, flushing money down a toilet, you capped out real heavy. You know what I mean? You lost yourself majorly. You know what I mean? You spending money like a rapper. The only difference is rappers going on tours, they getting money for shows. You get paid to be a boxer. Not saying that a person don't have endorsements, but I don't think around this time he had any. You were so cocky and knew that turned down 40 M's from Rock Nation when Jay-Z offered it to you. We still try to rock with you. Like, it's certain fighters, it's certain people who play sports that no matter how wrong they do, we still try to rock with them. Okay, you lose the Madonna fight, then you lose against um, Porter. Then you just kept losing, and you know what I mean? You get with Don King to try to shake back. You lose on that. And then in the end, now look at you. You know what I mean? You back in the natty. You You live just like the basic person who was so cocky. You laughed at Jay-Z when they offered you and Rock Nation offered you 40 M's, and I bet now looking back, you wish you would have took that 40 M's. You know what I mean? Because even if you would have financial problems, it wouldn't be as bad as they are now. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's like what I said a while ago. When you get that opportunity, it's on you to roll with it. You know what I mean? Once you get any legal opportunity and you don't roll with it and prosper, that's on you, man. We don't feel bad for you. I don't care if it's a Frito Lay's commercial and they paying you 28,000. If you don't roll with that and you don't make that happen from that 28,000 they just paid you to do a chip commercial, then we don't feel bad for you. We're not saying 28,000 from that chip commercial gonna get you out the hood. We're just saying any type of legal money that you get and you don't roll with it and make it happen, then that's on you. We don't feel bad for you. You know what I mean? So when you come back to the hood and you ain't break bread, you didn't break bread. We don't feel bad for you. You know what I mean? You need to get on your knees and talk to God and really reevaluate yourself and get yourself together and regroup and come back 10 times harder. You know what I mean? So, you know, this Tribe TV, you know what I mean? Like, comment, subscribe. You know what I mean? Go to my YouTube post, check for updates. You know what I mean? We always got some posted on there. We got female apparel, men apparel, burn your boy. You know what I mean? Remember, the topic was about Sebastian Telfair, the guy who was knocking at the door with LeBron, and now he's back in the projects of NY and want a sympathy card. So we don't do that. You know what I mean? Once you had your opportunity, I don't care if you went to a 20, know about whether it's CNN or VNN or UPN, and you, even if you don't get paid to go on CNN, you going on there, come up on making a bag. Sometimes it ain't always about the view and let them eat them on him, slamming, jumping, bunking, and that's opportunity. Always got to be a crack. It can be crack y'all. Many type of thing, legal lump sum or whatever it is, you have to roll with it. You know what I mean? You can't just look at it like I'm gonna do this and do that, and then that was my blessing, and now you back to square one. Nah, bro, you gotta figure out something, invest it, and then make it happen. You know what I mean? So, Sebastian Telfair, you know what I mean? We're gonna see what his outcome be. You know what I mean? And how can he turn this around for himself, not for us? You know what I mean? Because you have to and basically what you already know, man. Tribe TV, like, comment, subscribe. You know what I mean? Tap in with your boy, Tribe.